In the heart of Ayetoro village, just as the sun set and the cool breeze blew, a strange food stand appeared. It wasn't there in the morning, but by evening, the smell of spicy meat, jollof rice, and fried plantains filled the air. The village could smell it from miles away, and it drew everyone to the stand, young and old, rich and poor. Nobody knew who owned the stand or who was cooking, but the food was irresistible. And soon the villagers began to gather every night, waiting for a taste. The vendor was an elderly woman, always sitting behind the counter with a dark, tattered shawl covering her face. Her hands worked swiftly, frying and stirring, but she never spoke. No one ever saw where she went after the last plate was served. Her food was perfect, richer than anything they'd tasted. It was so good some villagers forgot to pay or eat their usual meals. They all began to say, "You've never had jollof rice until you've had hers." One evening, a young man named Tunde, who was always skeptical about strange things, decided to stop by. He had heard the rumors but wanted to taste it for himself. He sat down, ordered a plate of jollof rice and goat meat, and dug in. It was like a feast from heaven. But when he finished eating, he began to feel very tired. So tired that he laid down under the stand and fell asleep. But when morning came, he was gone. No one knew where he went, and the stand was already gone too. The villagers thought it was strange, but they didn't connect it to the food. But then it started happening more and more. People from all over the village would visit the stand and disappear overnight. The elderly woman continued to sell food, and more villagers came to try her dishes. People started noticing the strange disappearances, but each time they blamed it on the village's bad luck, a sickness, or just an accident. They never made the connection to the food. People were too hungry for her delicious meals to stop. One day, a curious boy named Kola followed the vendor home. He didn't want to believe the stories, but he couldn't ignore it any longer. As the woman walked through the dark woods, Kola sneaked behind her. What he saw would haunt him forever. The woman stopped at an old abandoned house. She turned, and her face, a face of pure darkness, hollow eyes and skin like paper, stared at him. She whispered, "You ate. Now, you sleep forever." Kola ran back to the village, his heart racing. He knew then that the woman wasn't a mere vendor. She was a ghost, trapped in the world of hunger, using her food to steal the souls of those who ate from her stand. The village elders called an emergency meeting. They realized that the mysterious food stand had always appeared when the villagers were most desperate, most hungry. And with every plate of food, the villagers lost something more than their money. They lost their lives. By the time they burned down the stand, it was too late for many. The ghostly woman's spirit screamed into the wind as the food stand vanished forever. To this day, no one knows where the ghostly woman came from. The villagers never forgot the lesson they learned the hard way. Every child, every adult, every traveler was warned. Never eat food from a place you don't know. Don't trust food that appears without a trace. Not all meals are meant to nourish the body. Some are meant to steal your soul. And whenever the wind is still and the sun sets just right, some villagers swear they still smell the scent of jollof rice and fried plantains floating in the air, reminding them of the hunger that never ends. Moral of the story: be careful where you eat, because sometimes food can take more than your appetite. It can take your soul.